When is the right time for a sixth sensory to become intimate with a five sensory? As I've said in previous videos, there is really no correct timeline, and each sixth sensory has to make that evaluation based on how comfortable they feel in their body. There are sixth sensories who may, on the first date, actually decide to become intimate, and it's possible they could still win the partner over, no problem. Having said that, the earlier that you become intimate with a potential partner, the more likely it is that they're messing around with you and they're trying to just get intimacy because they have low self-esteem, right? So waiting is usually a good idea because that gives you the opportunity to see what the person is like, and you can have better discernment as to whether or not this person is a good fit for you. Having said that, there's absolutely nothing wrong if you feel it, early on, and you really trust yourself and you feel the person's a good person, then go for it. Do what you want to do and learn the life lessons from that and be 100% responsible. And the life lesson you might learn is that you're extremely happy and you can trust yourself, or it might be a different life lesson. But having said that, always feel confident and always believe in yourself. There are two reasons that five sensories leave. And I went over one of the reasons in my previous video when we were talking about turning heads and how five sensories sometimes cheat on their partners. One of the main reasons five sensories leave their relationships with six sensories is that they are just attracted to somebody else. They appear to be offering more on a superficial level. The other reason is that they decide that you are not offering enough superficially. You're not valuable enough. Now, having said that, if that ever happens and a five sensory breaks up with you, don't worry about it. It's not a reflection of your inherent value, because as a sixth sensory, our value is so deep that most five sensories can't really see it anyway. They just see what's going on the surface. And so selecting our relationships, it's critically important for us to have discernment to see, does a person actually see who I really am? And how do you know that? It's not actually through deep conversations. You would think that it would be, but five sensories can kind of fake like they're six sensories, even in conversation. And so what you want to do instead is just get to know the five sensory through time. Five sensories do have good qualities. They can be very responsible for their lives and very grounded and practical. They can be very good at bringing in resources into a partnership. And so they're not bad partners. Having said that, you have to understand their psychology and understand where they're coming from. If you don't have a deep sense of how their psychology works, you're probably going to get played by them. They're pretty smart and they're in their left brains and they like to play tricks to get what they want. And that can be intimacy at times. Sometimes what they want is a house and then they'll later divorce you. Other times it could be they want social status, and small doses of these superficial desires are okay. We all have them. We just have to determine and discern whether or not that person has any deeper values that we truly resonate with. And one of the ways that we become aware of whether or not a partner is a good fit for us in the first place is that we write a list down of our values and what our ideal partner looks like. And when people come up with that list, it's pretty superficial. It's like, I want a tall person or maybe a short person, and they look at their body parts. But it's good to look at that a little bit because it's good to have a visual in a way that's going to cue you, to tune you into this could be your person. So it's good to have some reference points to the superficial. Having said that, you don't want it to all be superficial because there needs to be a deeper level that you're connecting on with that person. If you can't really connect on a deeper level, then why are you with them? In addition to having a list of what you want, it's also important to have a list of what you don't want. And those can be hard and soft boundaries. So soft boundaries might be something like somebody says something you don't really like, but you're willing to let them text you again. There's a lot of things that people will try to sort of see if they can get something from you in a relationship, but if you let it fly by, maybe you can pick up on a better note and continue the relationship and just pretend like that thing didn't happen. But if those things are happening too often, it's kind of like a yellow card in soccer. If too many yellow cards come up, then maybe they become a red card. Other behaviors might be a red card off the bat, where maybe they say a certain word to you that's just not appropriate according to your gender or your race, and you're not going to continue the conversation after that word's been used. There are useful boundaries and things that you don't want in your relationship that should be articulated on paper as well. And you may have to remind yourself over and over again, because what happens in the moment when you're getting to know new people and you're making those negotiations, like, are we going to be intimate or not? When's the right timing? Are we just going on a date? Those decisions can happen like snap, snap, snap very quickly. And so you have to be on the ball and know what your priorities are and respond fast in the moment at times, because you may not want to agree to something that somebody's trying to talk you into, right? And so you have to be very aware of what people are saying and what they really mean. Lastly, you want to be aware of societal pressures that you should be married by a certain age, or coaching programs that tell you you'll be happy and live your ultimate life when you find the ultimate relationship, can actually make you feel a little pressure to jump into the next relationship with somebody, and they may not be the right person for you. The antidote to jumping into the next thing is to realize you can build an authentic and happy life as a single person. And that is equal to living the ultimate life in relationship. Now, some people will argue that being single is not a good place to be, that you are getting a more fulfilling life with a partner. And of course, having a partner is a fantastic thing. The problem when we denigrate the experience of being single is that it puts pressure on us to jump into the wrong relationship for us. And that's not a good thing. We want to value our single life and understand that it's equal to being in a relationship that's healthy. As long as we have healthy relationships, whether we're single or in a relationship, those are both very good places to be in our lives. And the key is to whichever direction we take in life, that it supports us in our higher mission, that we're able to serve and help others, whether we're single or we're in a relationship. Coaching programs that tell you that being single is not a good thing, that it's the lowest position, and of course being bitter and judgmental about relationships and being single at the same time is not a good place to be. You don't want to be constantly criticizing the opposite sex or saying that the world is going to hell. This is not a good place to be when you're looking for a loving relationship. If you have negative filters on relationship and you're single, then you're probably going to be like a hungry ghost, always looking for the right thing, but you're never going to find it. What you want to do instead is be happy with your single life. Be joyful in your life, and that will create the energy of a potential partner to come towards you. But don't need them to come by a certain deadline. Don't need to be in a committed relationship or get married by a certain age, because those things are just artificial constructs. Like, if you go to the gym and you measure your muscle and your fat ratio, the gym has a better accurate representation of what your real age is according to your physical health than what your actual age is. The key is you want to be healthy, and that keeps you young. It's more important to take good care of yourself rather than pressure yourself to jump into the next thing.